Tonight, more Texas students are skipping vaccinations. We'll take a look at vaccine exemptions in our area and hear from a medical expert about the long-term implications. The Castle Hills City Council has once again voted to keep a rule in place that restricts public comments. Hemp, it's now legal in Texas, but the way it looks and smells is creating some confusion for law enforcement agencies. Thanks for joining us for KSAT News at 9, streaming from live right here in the KSAT 12 newsroom. I'm Myra Arthur. A pivotal night in the Harlandale Independent School District. The school board is holding a meeting tonight to discuss the Texas Education Agency's call for the removal of the Harlandale superintendent and the entire school board. The TEA also moved to lower the district's accreditation status, which means if the district doesn't address the problems, it could be placed on probation or its accreditation could be removed altogether. The state will also place a conservator to oversee the district. Harlandale has until July 9th to request a review of the lowered accreditation status and the appointment of the conservator. Coming up tonight on the Night Beat at 10, coverage of what happened during that meeting tonight. The number of Texas students not getting vaccinated is at an all-time high. In the San Antonio and surrounding area, the Texas Department of State Health Services reports that 531 kindergarten students out of 29,126 are not vaccinated. That's 1.8% of students. Sarah Acosta spoke with San Antonio Metro Health about the possible impact on the community in the long run.
It's a trend that has the medical community concerned. A higher rate of Texas students are not getting vaccinated. Instead, parents are choosing to exempt their children, a choice protected by a 2003 state law. Overall, 2.15% of kindergarten students in Texas are not vaccinated. In Bexar County, 1.65% are not vaccinated. These numbers are from the 2018 to 2019 Texas Department of State Health Services. Now take a look at these area school districts. These are the districts that had more than 2.5% kindergarten students not vaccinated. Here are some of the local private schools that had higher numbers. San Antonio ISD had the majority of its students vaccinated at 0.66% exempt. These percentages seem small, but Metro Health says we should be concerned.
If we are seeing an upward trend in vaccine exemptions, the fear is at some point, pretty soon in the future, we will not find this community immunity to be effective.
Community immunity or herd immunity is when a large part of the community is vaccinated.
When you have a large segment of vaccinated folks, it limits the spread of the disease in your community.
She says to think of that small percentage like a leak in a boat, or in this case, a small hole in a cup. The cup is the vaccine and the water is the infectious disease. Eventually, that cup or boat will sink, or in this case, disease will take over.
Vaccination is important because diseases are not completely eradicated globally, and unless we do that, we can't take the foot off the gas pedal.
She says she worries about younger parents who may not be aware of the impact that infectious diseases have had on populations.
They have forgotten the devastation these diseases can cause, and so now their attention has shifted from the actual risk of the disease to the perceived risk of vaccines.
If you want to look up your child's school district, private school, or charter school, all you have to do is head to our website, because the Texas Tribune recently made a database, and we have that link on our web story. All this information is from a 2018 and 2019 Texas Department of Health Services, where they listed all the state's school districts, private schools, and charter schools. Myra.
All right, thanks, Sarah. Since 2010, an economic development arm of the city has awarded more than $1 million in matching grants, helping out more than 100 East Side businesses. San Antonio for Growth on the East Side, or SAGE, has now announced 8 of its latest recipients of matching storefront grants. The list includes 2 churches, a clubhouse, and a restaurant. The grants are for up to $10,000 and are matched dollar for dollar by qualified business owners. Owners say these grants will help them make necessary upgrades to their businesses and, in turn, their neighborhoods.
For many years, the East Side was overlooked and lost, but now I can see the benefits of it. I can see the change, and the change is good.
To see a full list of the latest round of storefront grant recipients, go to ksat.com and click on this story. It's a controversial rule that some say stifles citizens' voices, but Castle Hills City Council has voted once again to restrict citizen comments during council meetings. For now, those attending the meetings will have to wait until the end of the hearing after votes have been taken on an issue before making public comment about it. The council first voted on this rule last month. Castle Hills Mayor J.R. Trevino asked council to reconsider, but it passed again tonight in a vote of 3-2. One of the rule's sponsors says these rules were needed after some residents complained about feeling intimidated by the way people were speaking during meetings. Critics argue some council members just couldn't take the heat. We don't know how long this rule will last. Those who support it say it was meant as a timeout, not a permanent fix. Plus, the state legislature just passed a law that will require governmental bodies to allow public input before or while they consider an issue. Now let's turn to the 9 at 9 tonight. These are some of the biggest stories making headlines all around the world, around the country, and right here at home. San Antonio police searching for a suspect in a deadly hit and run. Tons and tons of garbage pulled from the ocean, and a city in Mexico slammed with several feet of hail.
Here's tonight's 9 at 9. A motorcyclist killed on the far west side of San Antonio after a hit-and-run crash. This happened around 6 a.m. on eastbound Highway 151 near West Military Highway. Police say the motorcyclist was turning when a van ran a red light and hit the bike. The motorcyclist was wearing a helmet but died at the scene. Police are still searching for the driver of that van. An El Paso border crossing temporarily closed this morning due to protests on the Mexican side of the border. According to U.S. Customs and Border Protection, a large and unruly group of demonstrators formed at the border early this morning and threatened to overrun the facility. The crossing closed at 2 a.m. for several hours. No one was arrested. CNN reports the group was made up of about 250 to 300 people, and they were largely Cuban and Salvadoran migrants. Here at home, a group of people who went off-roading in a pickup truck ended up stuck, broken down in a canyon. This happened on the far northwest side in a steep canyon off Kyle Seal Parkway, about 3 miles outside Loop 1604. Police say they called a friend for help, but as he was driving up a hill, his truck rolled over. That's when they called police. SAPD brought in their Eagle helicopter and had several officers searching the ground. The fire department brought in ATVs to help. Everyone was safely rescued. No serious injuries were reported. Protests continue in Hong Kong. Demonstrators swarmed into Hong Kong's legislature, defacing portraits and spray painting pro-democracy slogans before leaving. Meanwhile, riot police cleared surrounding streets with tear gas. Protests over the past few weeks were sparked by a controversial potential extradition law that would allow suspects to be sent to China for trial. Japan officially resumes commercial whaling, and already 2 minke whales have been caught. Commercial whaling had previously been banned. The country insists it will engage in sustainable practices while hunting whales, but animal rights groups have condemned the practice. 2 Forest Department officers were riding bikes through a wildlife sanctuary in India when one noticed a tiger chasing them. One of those bikers was actually able to film part of that chase. It only lasted a few seconds before the tiger ran back into the jungle. Environmentalists removed more than 40 tons of trash from the Pacific Ocean. That's equal to the weight of about 7 adult elephants. The cleanup group used satellite and drone technology to remove the trash, including detergent bottles, plastic furniture, and children's toys. A freak hailstorm floods the streets of Guadalajara, Mexico with ice. The region had been experiencing summer weather before a storm hit, dropping more than 3 feet of ice. Take a look at this. NASA's Hubble Space Telescope captured this image of a cosmic fireworks show that's been going on for centuries. The source is a double star system, 7,500 light years from Earth. In the 1840s, the star system went through a titanic outburst called the Great Eruption, making it the second brightest star visible in the sky for over a decade. To read more about these 9 stories, go to ksat.com/news@9.
The 4th of July is just a few days away, and while you're making your plans, make sure you plan to celebrate responsibly and don't drink and drive. More than 140 people died on Texas roads during the July 4th holiday weekend between 2013 and 2017, all because of impaired driving. That's according to the U.S. Department of Transportation. Law enforcement steps up patrols over the holiday, but it is up to drivers to make sure that they're sober. It's illegal to drive with a blood alcohol content above 0.8. Some tips for safe driving, of course: choose a designated driver, call a taxi, a ride share, make sure everyone in your group leaves with a sober driver. There are plenty of options these days. Meteorologist Sarah Spivey joins us now, and it is July 1st, of course. Not a bad start.
Yeah, not a bad start to July. We were cooler than seasonally average, but you know, we really have been dealing with some beneficial rain, Myra. Sunday morning, storms dropped over an inch of rain in San Antonio and even more elsewhere. So it was a pretty loud storm just a couple of days ago, but now things were pretty quiet for us tonight. Take a look at this time lapse. A beautiful sunset after some puffy cumulus clouds moved throughout the day. And we did have a couple of isolated showers, mainly along the coastal bend, but there was the high today, 90 degrees, 4 degrees cooler than the average. At least we weren't at 104 like we were on this day in 1980. Now we can still get up to the triple digits. We just haven't seen them so far this year. In fact, this is the first June that we've gone through where we haven't seen 100 degrees since 2016. So a cooler than average June as well. High-res futurecast, we will see some morning clouds. Although we did have a couple of isolated showers along the coastal bend today, I think tomorrow in the late afternoon and early evening we'll have a couple more than what we saw today. So we'll go with a 30% chance for isolated showers and storms for your Tuesday. Starting off with plenty of cloud cover, 74 degrees in the morning. Partly cloudy skies in the afternoon. Once again, we'll hit 90 tomorrow, and it's in the afternoon that we'll see a 30% chance for showers and storms. South-southeast winds at 5 to 10 to even 15 miles per hour at times. Now, Myra, I know 4th of July is right around the corner. Unfortunately, the forecast is a little bit complicated as we approach 4th of July. So in just a few minutes, I'll have a look ahead for everybody.
All right. I'm sure there's plenty for you guys to keep track of.
Yeah, there definitely is a lot.
All right. Thanks, Sarah. Well, no matter what your summer plans and where they take you, with this South Texas heat, it is important to stay hydrated. We all know how drinking water is key, especially if you're spending any time outside. But a lot of times people don't get the amount of water they need. RJ Marquez spoke with the Leon Valley Fire Chief, who shares some tips on how to make sure you're getting enough. It's tonight's Adulting Hack.
All right, guys, time for another Adulting Hacks on KSAT's News at 9. And tonight we're going to be talking about hydration, how to stay safe, because as we all know, it is getting hot. It's probably going to get hotter. So we have with us Leon Valley Fire Chief Michael Naughton. What are some tips that people need to know right off the bat?
Right off the bat, it's real important to drink water all the time. What most people don't realize is so many people walk around dehydrated every day. And we take our family out on a vacation or something, we go out in the sun, we do some sort of activities, and we're not prepared for it. You can become dehydrated really quick, and you can find yourself in a life-threatening situation simply from not drinking enough water. One of the things that we recommend is using a urine color chart, and it tells you how hydrated you are. When we talk about hydrating, if you're doing an activity out in the sun and you're doing hard work or you're hiking, you know, you've got to drink 8 ounces of fluid every 20 minutes. And if you get down into this severe dehydration that's down here, that's an emergency. You need to get help right now. Some of the signs and symptoms of dehydration are you can start getting altered mental status. You can start weaving and bobbing. You can start getting lightheaded, and eventually you can faint from low blood pressure. 4th of July is right around the corner. If you're going to be out at an event, drink water, drink a lot of water. Watch your family, watch your pets. It's not just about you and I, it's about our dogs, our cats, whatever pet we have out. You should always have water with you when you're at an outside event. What you think you need for water, you should probably have twice as much.
Coming up tomorrow on KSAT News at 9, more and more millennials are moving to Bexar County. So why is that? We'll talk about some of the driving forces behind that increase. That's tomorrow, right here on the News at 9. A lot more ahead on KSAT News at 9 tonight, including President Donald Trump announcing new plans for immigration raids that were postponed last month. Plus, hemp is now legal in Texas, but because of how closely it resembles marijuana, some are worried about the confusion that could cause local law enforcement. Those stories and more after the break. Well, it looks and smells like marijuana, but it won't get you high. Hemp. It's now legal in Texas, and as it gets more and more popular, it could cause some confusion for local law enforcement. Some employees at smoke shops around Bexar County say smoking hemp is a popular way for people to consume CBD. But because it resembles marijuana, it could be hard for officers and deputies to differentiate hemp from marijuana. Hemp-derived CBD does not contain high levels of THC. That's the ingredient that gives marijuana users a high. But THC testing technology is not yet readily available for law enforcement officials to use. Bexar County Sheriff Javier Salazar says deputies will need to rely on training and discretion.
That's all we have to rely upon until some sort of a presumptive test comes out to be able to test for that. That's what we've got to rely on.
The DA's office says the fact that hemp is now legal does not affect probable cause guidelines. Riding scooters on San Antonio sidewalks is no longer allowed. As of today, scooter riders must travel on the street. Another new regulation that took effect today, scooters are now banned from both Alamo Plaza and the Riverwalk. The City Council approved these new safety regulations last month. The San Antonio Fire Department has responded to 173 scooter-related accidents since late September. Now let's turn to some of the biggest stories that people are talking about tonight. President Donald Trump renewing threats to deport thousands of undocumented immigrants. This comes after deportation raids were delayed last month. President Trump now says those raids will take place this weekend after the 4th of July holiday. The operation was set to take place in major U.S. cities. The Trump administration says they have identified 2,000 people for expedited removal. California's gun laws just got tougher. A new law in that state requiring background checks to purchase ammunition went into effect today. Under this new law, all ammo sales must take place in person. If the gun owner is already in the state's registry and cleared with a background check, they will pay $1 each time they want to buy ammo to run a spot check. This check will ensure there are no new criminal convictions or mental health red flags. If they're not in that database, buyers will have to pay $19 for a more extensive background check. Sarah Spivey back with us tonight, and of course everyone thinking about the 4th of July holiday that's just around the corner, and the weather team is as well.
Yeah, we are really looking closely at it because although it does look like right now at least just isolated showers and storms, there could be a couple of factors in play that may actually increase our rain chances for 4th of July. So we're hoping that that's not the case, but of course you can expect an honest forecast from us one way or another. But here's a look at what highs were like today. 90 degrees in San Antonio. It was only 88 in Kerrville, 86 in Rock Springs. Now, one exception to the cooler than average high temperatures was Laredo, 100 degrees down in Laredo, 98 in Cotulla, 99 in Carrizo Springs. But around south central portions of the United States and across the desert southwest, much worse, 110 in Phoenix, Arizona. And that's where that heat high is right now, that big blue bully, that heat high that causes temperatures to really soar. We've also got a high pressure system off across the Florida panhandle, and that's actually going to be moving closer to us and increasing our temperatures just a little bit. But for the moment, we've got a small disturbance in the form of a low pressure system that is going to continue to keep rain chances in the forecast over the next couple of days. Only isolated tomorrow, but by Wednesday we will be able to see more scattered activity, and then hopefully this high, which blocks out rain, will end up closer to San Antonio by Thursday, by 4th of July. But we'll have to watch for that, and we'll keep a close eye on that. For now, though, 30% chance for isolated showers and storms on July the 4th, and then it's nothing but sunshine as we head into the weekend. Temperatures climbing back into the mid to upper 90s. Myra?
Thanks, Sarah. Well, are you having trouble sleeping at night? Your phone might be able to help with that. Sleep apps are currently booming in popularity around the world. In the past year, there has been a 20% increase in sleep app downloads. There are a lot of different kinds of sleep apps out there, like ones that make white noise to drown out sounds in the background, or ones that have guided imagery, meditation, or hypnosis to calm the mind. You can read more about sleep app options right now on our website at ksat.com. Let's go to our website now to find out what is trending on this Monday night with RJ Marquez.
All right, Myra, let's start first with another edition of New Week, New You. This is a pretty cool series that we have on air and online, of course. And this one is all about ballroom dancing being a way to relieve stress.
I would not have thought about that.
Same here. No, I actually get more stressed out when I have to do these kind of dances.
This may
like
not be for you.
Yeah, no, but it was pretty interesting. David Sears went out there, and by all accounts, he was spinning people and twirling people. So
worth a watch is what we're saying.
Definitely that. Pretty cool story here. I definitely encourage you guys to check it out on our website, ksat.com.
Okay.
All right. Next story here. This has been getting a lot of buzz all day, and it kind of even snuck up on me. The new Stranger Things 3 trailer was just released this morning.
Oh, I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's really good. It's pretty dark, actually, and so I think it kind of goes along with what we've seen from the previous 2 seasons. Are you a Stranger Things
I am,
fan?
yes. I'm actually looking forward to the new season, which comes out, is it this week?
So that's kind of the crazy thing about it, is that it comes out this week, whereas it used to come out like in October, in the fall. So they really implemented a lot more of summer things that maybe kids used to do back in the 80s, like fairs, going out to the pool, hanging out that way. So the trailer's really it's pretty creepy a little bit, but I definitely think worth a watch.
Oh, I'm excited.
Yeah, so check it out on ksat.com, and also the full season will start streaming on Netflix this Thursday. Last story of our training segment for our Monday night. This one is pretty interesting. I even kind of thought about this too, because we posted an article that said, here are the 13 words that are some of the most mispronounced in the English language. Okay. So, a couple here.
All right, what have we been doing wrong here?
Cache.
Cache.
Like clear your computer cache.
Yes.
Apparently people might think of it as cache.
Cache. I have heard people say that.
Yeah. This is the one that kind of threw me for a loop. Often there is no T. It's a silent T. It's often.
No, but there is a T.
There is definitely a T.
It's in there. I've seen it.
There's a T. Yes, but apparently it's spelled often. Euro.
Yes. Now
gyro.
this is, yes, I have heard people do that. And if you have watched the show before, you've heard Adam Caskey go on a rant about that very word.
Okay.
You should look it up if you haven't seen it.
Yeah, and so we have a full list here, 13 other words, and that's about it.
This does not account for the Texas pronunciation.
No, definitely not.
Words.
No.
Okay.
I mean, we have like Bayer, Bexar.
Oh,
a lot of people
we got our own thing.
We got our own. We should do our own, yeah.
All right, thanks, RJ.
All right, thanks, Myra.
We'll be right back. That's all our time tonight. Thanks so much for watching KSAT News at 9. You can catch us here Monday through Friday, any way you stream. I'm Myra Arthur. We'll see you right back here tomorrow.